Good morning, students. As I was discussing with you, I told you in the next video class, I will do the revision of your first two lessons, right, for your midterm examination. I hope you are preparing well, and also I believe you already prepared. Okay, especially in science, you have to read the lesson repeatedly with your low voice, not in mind. Okay, and while you are reading, you should get the pictures, what it is. Okay, now come to the first lesson, food. Where does it come from? So, what is food? It is a nutritive substance that we will have in order to not only we, animals will have in order to get energy as well as to do work, growth and repair of body parts. Alright, and also maintaining our life processes. Food is needed. Where does it come from? So it mainly come from plants and even from animals also. When you come to the food variety, there is a wide variety throughout our India that the food eaten by the people. So now when you come to the food variety, in order to prepare a particular kind of food, you need to have the particular type of materials, or we can call ingredients. What are ingredients? The various type of material that are required in order to prepare a particular kind of food, we can call it as ingredient. All right. Now, as you know, as you are already in 6th standard, in order to prepare particular kind of food item, what are the raw materials or ingredients that are required in order to prepare that kind of food, right? So, in order to prepare the food, we use some of the things that are obtained from the plants and some from animals, right? We can call them as sources of food. Now, here comes edible. What is edible? Edible is nothing but the parts of the plant or animal which we can use for preparing food, or else which we can use directly as a food. Alright, various activities are given. Alright, you need to know nectar. What is nectar? Bees collect nectar from flowers. That is nothing but sweet juice. Next comes, what do animals eat? When you come to what do animals eat, so various kinds of animals depend on various things in order to obtain their food, right? Some they depend only on plants, some they depend only on animals, and some they depend on both. So based on that, we have the classification as herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores are the class of organisms that depends on only plants for their food. Similarly, carnivores are the type of organisms that they depend only on animals or the flesh of animals for their food. Whereas omnivores are the group of organisms, they depend both on plants also and animals also for their food. Such classification comes under omnivores. So you need to know what are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, then what are ingredients, what are the sources of food, alright, and what is nectar, alright, in this lesson. And just you glance the notes that I had given to you, fill up the blanks. Now come to the second lesson, components of food. So we had the first lesson as food. Where does it come from? Now we have the second lesson as components of food. As the components of food in your mind comes means, so there are the various components in each kind of food that we eat, right? So you can see the pictures, the various kind of or the sources of food, kind of food, they gives the various types of constituents or the nutrients, we can say. Now when you come to the major nutrients of food, what are nutrients? The nutrients are nothing but they nourishes our body. We need for the growth and repair of our body parts, right? Maintenance of growth and to work. Alright. See, when we eat the food, in some of the foods we will get, according to the food that we eat, these kind of nutrients. What are those? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, right? Along with whatever the plant parts that we will eat, they provide us roughage and water also we consume. Alright, these are various constituents or the nutrients of our food, we can say. Alright, so the food that we eat contain some components that are needed by our body. These components are nothing but nutrients, and the various components means you have to write the names of all the names that you can see in this picture. All right. Next comes these nutrients, right? Carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and all, where we will get, how we will get. And there is a test for each carbohydrates, fats as well as proteins and all. So that I told you, I will explain you in the normal class, so that you don't need to concentrate for this exam. Other than that, carbohydrates are nothing but energy giving foods, right? So what are the different food that provide carbohydrates? You have to say sources. So from what source we will obtain, what are their functions, right? Fats, vitamins, proteins. So from what source we will get, you can observe this table, right? Next comes food groups. So whatever the food that we eat, we can classify mainly into three types. They are bodybuilding foods, example proteins, protective foods and energy giving foods. Energy giving foods are carbohydrates and fats. Mainly energy giving foods are carbohydrates and fats. You know from which food we will get carbohydrates and fats. Alright. Protective food, okay, minerals and dietary fibers, okay. Then bodybuilding foods are nothing but proteins. Next, food classification. Various food components grouped into three classes: energy giving foods, bodybuilding foods, protective foods. So vitamins and minerals are nothing but protective foods, and proteins are nothing but bodybuilding foods. Fats and carbohydrates are nothing but energy giving foods. This classification you need to learn properly. Alright, this is important for your exam. Now, in components of food, as I told you, there are the various components. You list out the various components and the sources and the function of those nutrients. Right. Then comes vitamins as well as minerals and roughage. Along with that, water is also needed. Right. In the lesson, as it is given, just you read out the part that is in the page number 13 as well as 14. You will come to know what is the function of dietary fibers as well as water. And next comes balanced diet. So balanced diet definition is important. What is balanced diet and how we can maintain the balance in our diet, that you have to read the page number 14 as well as 15. Next, in the page number 15 only, you have deficiency diseases. This is also important. So the person may be eating good quality of food, but it may not contain all the nutrients that the body, various parts of body that is required. Continuously for many days, if it happens like that, it leads to deficiency. As the result of that, diseases or disorders occurs. What are the deficiency disorders or the diseases? That is there in the page number 15, and in the page number 16 you have one table. So in that you need to go through that table properly. As the result of that, you can able to write your 1 mark question, fill in the blanks as well as 1 mark questions properly. Okay, so to conclude, and also in this lesson I had given you the notes of that, fill up the blanks and all, and the question answers, that is what is there in the exercise that you have to prepare for your exam. Okay, so in order to sum up, in the fibers to fabric I had given in the last video class. In this video class I had given you about first lesson, food, where does it come from, and then constraints of food, the second lesson. Right. So in order to do well your exam, what you have to do is that you have to read the textbook repeatedly and observe this video class. Right. Write and practice wherever it is necessary, and go through the fill up the blanks, true or false, that are there in the exercise question repeatedly. Right. I hope you are going to prepare well and do your exam well. All the best to you. Thank you.